everybody, it's Paige from Salt Lake County Aging and Adult Services, and this is just your generic cool down video with a little bit of a stretch. This is appropriate for weight training, for an aerobic workout. Even if you are out playing sports of some kind, this would be something that you could do right after, right? We want to be warm. So I'm assuming you're coming into this video after doing some sort of exercise. And so what we're going to do is about a 3-minute cool down. And I'm just going to start by going side to side and doing some shoulder rolls. So the idea of the cool down is to slowly stop your motion. So if you go from a run, you go to a walk. If you go from a walk, you go to just movement that's a little bit slower, right? The idea is to keep the hands below or the arms below the shoulders. Let your body cool down. It's important to help it cool down. Good. We're going to go back to our tapping the toes behind us. I'm going to give you a side view. Keeping those hands below shoulder level. Maybe if it's better for you, just one arm at a time. If you notice your heart rate isn't going down, slow your motion. Good. And relax, and we're going to go biceps and heels. I always like to spend a lot of time on those ankles, so I have no problem doing 2, 3, 4 movements where I'm pointing and flexing my ankles, especially if I'm coming off of playing a sport or walking or running, anything like that. Even weight training, this is a good cool down to do. Good. Now we're just going to march nice and slow, and we're just going to take a couple steps forward and a couple steps back. This would be good to do after a walk. Just stepping forward and stepping back, nice and easy. We're going to do that one more time. And now we're just going to go side to side. Swing those arms. Step tap, I mean, it is side to side, but I'm taking out, bringing those feet together. That's one less thing that we need to do. Swinging those arms. Breathing. Remember, cool down, 3 to 5 minutes. If you need a longer cool down, take it. Sometimes I need a 15-minute warm up and a 10-minute cool down. There's 25 minutes right there, right? Maybe that's my workout for the day. A warm up and a cool down. If that's all I can muster, it's so much better than nothing. Good. And relax and let's roll the shoulders. Taking some deep breaths. And again, big shoulder roll. One more time. Good. Let's look over one shoulder and over the other. Over one and over the other. Let's do that one more time. Good. So you deep breath in. Bring those arms up overhead if you like. Bring those hands down in front. Stretch between the shoulder blades. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath up. Good job. Now I am going to go into a stretch. If you want to join me, great. I'm getting my chair. You don't have to have a chair to stretch. And I'm going to show mainly standing stretches. But just in case, you grab your chair. So I'm going to stretch my calf. Right? This is just some good basic stretches. Again, great for after any sort of activity. I'm going to push my back heel down, bending my front knee. I like to have the chair here to kind of stabilize myself, push forward slightly. You don't have to have a chair to do this. We're trying to feel that stretch in the back heel, right? In that back heel. I'm just going to turn on the timer here so that we're holding these at least 20 seconds. Now, it's, said that the older you get, the longer you have to hold your stretches. Good, relax. And I agree with that. Let's go to the other side. I also think that a small stretch is better than no stretch. Obviously, we want to strive for 30-second holds, 20, 30-second holds. If you can hold for 60 minutes, great. If you're not disciplined enough to do that, take a yoga video. You may have yoga videos on the YouTube channel. You can always take one of those. That will hold those stretches. Good, relax. We're going to do our hamstring. So I'm going to put one heel out in front. And this is one if you have something to raise your heel up on, even better, right? So if I felt comfortable enough, I could put my leg up here and then lean forward, stretching my hamstring. Can hang on here, right? Maybe I don't feel comfortable enough to do this. Maybe my leg is on the ground still. That's absolutely okay. Stretching back of the upper thigh and calf. Pressing the heel away from you. Remember, stretching can be uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. Don't want to hold your breath. Good. Let's go to the other side. Put that heel on the ground. Maybe elevate it a little. Maybe it goes up onto a chair. Leaning forward. Notice my back's nice and flat. Stretching the hamstring. Remember to breathe. Head above the heart. Can you do this seated? Yes. Same thing. Remember to breathe. Still assuming your heart rate's kind of coming down. Good, and relax. Hip flexor stretch. So runner's lunge is one way. You can stand next to an object that could stabilize you. I'm going to get a side view. Get into a little bit of a lunge position. Bend both knees. Push the hip forward. That's going to stretch the hip flexor. Open up the hip here. You can also do that same thing, but be down into a big, deep lunge. I have this chair here just in case. Now remember, I have to get out of this. Just because I can get down here doesn't mean that I can get out. Front heel stays on the ground, always. Front heel stays on the ground. Good, coming out of that nice and easy. Switch sides. So again, whatever position feels best for you. A deeper lunge does not necessarily mean a deeper stretch. That's something you have to decide what works for you. What level do you need to be at? Hold this stretch. Opening the hip of the leg that's back. Good, and relax. Excellent. IT band. So that's going to be this part of the hip. This part of the knee, it runs all the way down. One thing that you can do is stand next to a wall. I'm going to use this chair. I'm going to cross the leg that's closest to the chair over the other one, and I'm just going to push my hip into that chair. So it's like I'm stretching the side of my body. This is a super important stretch, especially if you're walking or running or playing a sport, especially a sport that has lateral motion. If you just took an aerobics class, I mean, there's really not an activity where this stretch isn't appropriate. And we're trying to feel the stretch all along this side body. You can do this along a wall. Good, switch, let's go to the other side and give you the back view. Take the leg closest to my stable object, cross it over, and I'm gonna push my hip into that stable object. And I'm gonna breathe. Almost done with that lower body. Remember to breathe. Good, and relax. Oh, I forget how good those feel. Upper body. So I'm going to sit for these upper body. I'm going to take my hands out, interlace my fingers, and pull those shoulder blades apart. If you don't like to interlace your fingers, you don't need to. Sometimes I'll grab a wrist and press it out, and halfway through I'll switch arms. But I want to pull those shoulder blades together, take those arms down, take one arm across the body, and stretch. So stretching between the shoulder blades. Remember to sit up nice and tall. Remember to breathe. Remember, the main idea of these videos is so that you can get an idea of what your cool down and stretch should look like, and then you can do it on your own. These are just ideas of what you can do. If it helps you to have something to follow, great, you can use this. Stretching the back of the shoulder. Good, and relax. Thumbs up. Let's take those arms open, stretching the elbow pits, right? The biceps. Arms can be down here if that's better for you. Good, and relax. This time we're going to just reach behind us. You can interlace your fingers behind you. I like to grab my chair and then just press my chest forward. Remember, stretching can be uncomfortable, but should not be painful, right? So if you have a slight discomfort because of stretch, that's one thing, but you have pain because of stretch, we don't want that. Not pushing through pain here. This is not a no pain, no gain situation. Opening the chest. It's a good stretch to do when you've definitely worked your chest. It's a great thing to do after a long day at the computer or driving. Great end of the day stretch. Good, and relax. Shaking up those arms a little bit. Let's let one ear drop to the shoulder. If you can't hold or don't like to hold these neck stretches, don't. Just slowly go from one side to the other. Now let's take this over to the other side. Sometimes my neck doesn't like holding a stretch, so I just kind of move through it nice and gentle. Good, and head back to center. Let's look over the right shoulder or over a shoulder. Good, bring the head back to center and head over the other shoulder. Keeping that range of motion up the neck, super important. We're going to end with some twists and some cat-cows. Good, coming back to center, I'm going to twist to one side. I'm actually grabbing the back of my chair. This hand goes to the knee so I can really get that torque in here. I want to twist my belly button, not just my neck. So really my torso twist and then my head can look, but I wouldn't want to lead this stretch with my head. Good, and coming back to center, other side. Same thing, holding this, twisting the torso first, then the head. So my head really has nothing to do with my torso position. Really want to stretch that torso. Good, head back, or everything back to center. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale, round the back. This is that modified cat position. Inhale, open the chest, modified cow position. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. And next exhale, bring those arms down. All right, I hope this cool down stretch video gives you some versatility to your exercise routines. Thanks for joining me.